So, good morning, one and all present here. In today's video, we are going to discuss about a few case studies on programming language, that is C programming language. So, for this video, we have chosen two programs. One is Factorial, and another one is what are all the things you know? Even or odd, and we have leap years as well. So we will pick up two one. The first one is Factorial, and we are going to discuss about odd and even. So what is the difference between the DT design thinking and design thinking video and this case study video is design thinking is a separate concept which we are following, which our college has followed from the Stanford University. Actually, design thinking framework has been implemented in Stanford. From that, we have chosen this design thinking for our institution. So, whereas case study is for every subject or every course, we can have case study. I mean, we are studying the concepts in theory, like a theory part, but with the help of this case study, how we can implement the same theory concept in a practical manner. Like the same way, for our C programming language, we have n number of programs and n number of concepts out there. Each concepts can be implemented through case study. Okay, case study in the sense we can test it and we can do the validation. Okay, so let me start with the first case study. Factorial of a given number. So in a normal maths subject, you might have studied about factorial and how you should solve it using the formula, like say n star n minus 1 factorial star n minus 2 n minus 3 up to n minus n factorial, we can solve it. How the same concept can be implemented through programming language, that we are going to see with the help of a case study. So your duty is, we are just going to create a program to find a factorial of a given number. You are going to discuss with me about what are all the inputs we need to pick for this factorial program, what looping we are going to use, whether we can implement this program using looping, and what are all the loopings you have, and how we can find factorial for n numbers. Okay, shall we start now? Who is going to give the introduction?
Let me start.
Yeah, sure.
So for finding the factorial of a given number, the first step is to include the hash include studio.h, which is like a standard input output, and it's a header file. We have to enter it as the first step. And going to the next one is int main, that we are going to use the main function, and it's only a main function in programming every time. So we're going to use the main function, and it's going to be an integer type. It's going to return some value, that's factorial of a number. We are using int, or else we will use void. So here to return a factorial, we are using int. So we have int main. And the next statement is like to get the inputs from the user. Like we have n, I, and f. So these three are also going to be of integer data type. So we are determining the data type as int, and we are giving the three variables what we use in the program, where n is to store the input number what we get from the user.
For which you are going to find the factorial.
Yes,
okay.
And then we use I for looping.
Iteration.
If we use looping, we can use this I. And the next is factorial, which is used to store the calculator factorial number 1 is 2. So we use these three variables in this program. And then we use the print statement, X statement, like enter a non-negative number, because only for non-negative number we can find factorial. So by this the user can understand to enter a non-negative value. And then we use scanf statement. With this statement, we can get the input from the user and we can store it in a variable. So we get the input as an integer value and we store it in a variable called n, which we have predefined defined.
So next you are going to say.
We are going to use first here if statement. If 0 is greater than n, it checks whether the input number is negative. If there is an error, it will print error now. If there is a positive number, it will print error. But it will only show the right answer only in the negative term. And then we are going to use for loop. For in brackets, I is equal to 1.
Why we are starting with 1? Why can't we start with 0?
Because 1 is the unit value. Because if we do 1 factorial, then only 1 will be the, then for in the initially we are going to use 1 1 1. If we choose 2 factorial also 1 into 2. If we choose 3 factorial 1 into 2 into 3.
No, the thing is if you initialize f is equal to 0, then the result will be
Be
always
zero.
0. That's what we are initializing f is equal to 1.
And for a loop, in this loop, it iterates from 1 to n. In each iteration, the current value of I is multiplied with the factorial effectively by calculating the factorial. Then the main term, factorial into is equal to I. It multiplies the current value of factorial with I and stores the result back into the factorial.
Okay. Next.
Then we are going to use the printf, which brings the factorial of and then we are using return 0, which concludes that